are you and what do you do?
Okay. Kurt Vandebroek, founder and principal of CF Square. We are a studio fund that works with startups as co-founders, where we work along with the founders and also invest in those startups.
Perfect. Okay. And I'm Ray Shah. I'm founder of Think Design, and we build software that we hope is, we believe is useful and worth the investment. So, Kurt, we've worked on two different projects. We were just talking about that, and one was 343 Labs. That was a learning management system, and the other one was a payment gateway clone prototype, just as a proof of concept. The larger project was the learning management system. What was the main pain point you were trying to address with the learning management system?
Well, so for that, we 343 Labs had already an existing database of videos, instructional videos that they managed on Vimeo, and they had a website where they just listed videos. They also used MemberPress as their solution to use member access to the website or portions of the website. And they wanted to expand the experience, or they wanted to improve the experience of the users from just a list of videos into more a learning management system. And so we decided to build it in Didify. I myself, I am pretty knowledgeable on building front end and back end on Didify, but we needed integration with the Vimeo API and with the MemberPress API, and it all had to sit as an iframe within WordPress website. And so I reached out to you and your team mainly to help me on the technical integrations, to integrate with the Vimeo API, with the MemberPress API, and making sure that the iframe within WordPress was working. The more functional parts of the application, I did myself. Okay.
So we worked closely with you, and so how was that experience working with us, being a person with the technical background and able to do a lot of the stuff yourself? How was it working with us?
Yeah, I think we had to we had to tune it a bit in the beginning. I think what we lacked was short communication channels and quick communication. So then we introduced daily check-in points. And that really improved the collaboration. We had our own work cut out, and I think that so that we could work independently on these aspects was great. So we didn't interfere with each other's code. And Didify, I think, was great to do that. I could work on front end and back end. Your team worked on these integrations, and it came nicely together within the time frame, within the budget that we had foreseen. So
right. So what were your goals? So I understand your goals were to provide a better learning management system, not a better interface.
That's true. But when we started the project, we actually really didn't know what we wanted, right? So you have some wireframes, but once you start building, much of that goes out of the door. So what we really wanted to do was short iterations and finding out what we really needed while we were building it, and making sure that we didn't get into the waterfall trap.
Right. We used. Let me just interrupt you for a second. We used 1 week sprints when we did a check-in
Use
at the end
1
of
week
it.
sprints. Yeah.
Yeah, we did 1 week sprints and we did daily check-ins. They weren't always on the phone. Sometimes they were just check-ins in Slack. And that was enough to keep everybody aware of what was going on and how progress and where people were getting stuck and where they were able to move forward. So
yeah, and I think that was the most important thing. Look, if you get stuck and you don't communicate, that's the worst, right? Because you're sometimes just sitting on something and someone else has a better idea, or you can think together on it. Sometimes there are workarounds, or sometimes you just don't need the functionality that you prioritize. So I think that was most important, that the team was communicating where they got stuck, without spending too much time trying to solve it.
Yeah. So there was less banging one's head against the wall or whatever.
Yeah.
So how's the 343 Labs app? How's that worked for the business?
Yeah, relatively well. So they had their existing community. I actually did, after that, interviews with their community. We did 5 interviews with active users. They all liked the new interface. They thought it was really intuitive, helpful. Now their business plan has changed a bit, in the sense that what they thought would become a subscription solution for their entire community now is gonna become a source of knowledge database for graduates of their 1-year program. So it's kind of like people sign up for 343 Labs for a 1-year program to learn to make electronic music, or just making music. And when they are signing up for that, they get access to this database of videos. And so we're gonna expand it. We're gonna add more videos to it. But it's not gonna be a standalone solution as we first thought. So there as well, right? When you're a startup, you build something and then you evaluate it, and the purpose can change, but we keep on using it, and we think it's a very valuable asset for our client base.
Excellent. Okay, so it's kind of changed. The product itself hasn't changed much, but the use cases,
the purpose and the use case has changed.
Yeah. Okay, great. Would you recommend?
And because of that, we will have to make some changes, but most of the changes I can make myself.
Okay.
Because the way that we have implemented it is that through the API, we load the entire list of videos available, and then I can actually filter on and categorize those videos. So I think we were smart the way that we set it up initially.
Okay, so that's great. So you can keep working with it the way it's been set up.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Okay, would you recommend other companies to work with us?
Certainly for the things that I worked with you with, these technical integrations, I think yes, certainly would recommend your team anything that was WordPress, MemberPress, also the APIs. We did the APIs also for a payment gateway with a credit card processing website. So for those, yes, I also would recommend companies that build it to have their own product manager, or at least one developer in their team on the functional side to be part of the team. Just because it's so hard to like in the beginning or at the outset of your development to define the front end and to define all functionalities that you need. And I think the strength of Didify and the teamwork that we did is that you don't have to like decide at the outset of exactly how your product is going to look like.
Yeah.
By having product people actually in Didify working on the front end, which then in this case was me. And then I also later on, when we had a first working version, I then reached out to a UI design specialist
Yes.
who then actually refined the design, and I redid some of the screens according to his design. Now, if he would have done that at the initial stage, it wouldn't have worked. So we first had to build a functional solution, then work with a UI specialist afterwards, because like again, you don't know what you need until that you are really building it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think the takeaway from that is that leave it as a wireframe, working wireframe as long as you can, and then make sure all the functionality is what you want, and then skin it.
Yeah, certainly the wireframes do it very rudimental. Don't spend too much time on it, overthinking it. Get something in and then start building, iterating very quickly around it with actual user and product management input.
And that's what
will result. Yeah, much better product.
You managed to do with Think Design, right? We iterated really quickly.
Yeah, you guys iterated quickly, and then I iterated afterwards, right?
Right.
Because the project took at least 8 weeks longer. Work that I spent, but that was just mainly getting user feedback. So that's a very slow process, actually.
Yeah. We actually came in because, as I recall, I know we left you with a lot of UI work to do, but I recall we came in a week under budget. So we came in under budget on that project.
Yeah, that's true.
Just briefly, let's go over the other project, because you came back to us a couple of months later and you wanted a different project. Could you describe that project and what we did?
Yeah, so I was in the middle of consulting a large company on a payments project, and I wanted to build a proof of concept of a payment gateway, and therefore I came back to you to build an API that could be used externally, and to build some Postman API, how do you call that?
Queries.
Examples, yeah. To run against it, so that I could understand the complexity of what was needed to do, and to understand how much time it would take to develop this in a more enterprise scale way.
Right. Okay. And we did that work in 4 days.
You did that work in 4 days. It was also according to the budget that I had. So
yeah.
My question was, how much can we get done in 4 days, given the documentation and given what was there, because that would give me a good idea of complexity and speed of development, to then extrapolate that towards a budget for a larger case solution.
Okay, great. And how did that work out?
So that's actually no. So I presented that to the product team, and they're bringing it up towards their CEO for decision whether they're gonna build this or not. It's part of a bigger project.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Kurt. Good luck finding a parking spot.
I have the parking spot.
You have the parking spot.
I have just to sit in New York. You have to just sit in your car from here in this spot from 9 to 10:30, and that's it.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, nice chatting with you, and I hope to speak with you again soon.
Yep. Thanks, Ray.
Okay, bye.